Hi guys, this is gsnknown.com and this is the Nokia Lumia 925. We're here for a review of the Windows Phone 8.1 operating system in the preview version that we have installed on this model before the finalized version arrives in just a few weeks. Windows Phone 8.1 was announced back at Build 2014 in April, and as you know, it will come available for free on your Windows Phone 8 compatible device. This will be a major update and it's a more mature operating system. The first aspect I want to show you is the Action Center. This is the notification area on the device that's triggered with a swipe from the top area. After 4 years of Windows Phone, finally we get a notification area with 4 tiles at the top serving as your toggles and shortcuts. You can use here brightness, Bluetooth, rotation lock, Wi-Fi, airplane mode, and even a camera shortcut. The status bar at the top has been made more complex. Now it shows extra info like the date and battery percentage. And also with that extra detail, you'll see that the bar will stay on top all the time. Other thing worth mentioning is that the notifications, you can swipe them to make them go away if you want, tap them to enter them, obviously, and there's also a small settings shortcut right there in the notification area. You can also go to the notifications plus action area here to customize your tiles that I mentioned before: internet sharing, location, project my screen, quiet hours, airplane mode or Bluetooth. Each one of them can be made one of these shortcuts here. We can also choose what to show for each app that enters your notification system, and the notification area is also available in the lock screen. So finally, Windows Phone has become more mature. It gets an Action Center and notification. Now let's get to the keyboard, our main means of input. Now it gets workflow, and there's a swipe style mechanism that allows you to draw special patterns between letters in order to write faster. So that was fast, and fast yet again. As far as I know, this keyboard with workflow has entered the Guinness Book of Records thanks to its speed. You do swipe gestures, you draw between letters, and it's useful and fast. Windows Phone 8.1 also brings new hardware support. It will offer support for dual SIM devices. It will also include support for virtual keys. Here we have capacitive keys, so no virtual keys here. More Qualcomm CPUs, and the physical camera key will no longer be required. You will also be able to save applications on the SD card, and the apps will be encrypted so you cannot copy them, stuff like games, to other devices. Okay, by the way, you can also choose a wallpaper for the start screen. Let's actually go there. So, settings, and start plus theme, choose photo, save pictures, pick this one, crop it maybe, and then voila! The primary design change of Windows Phone 8.1 is the transparency. As you can see, some of the tiles are transparent, and behind them you can see the beautiful wallpaper, which is a very cool and unique feature for this operating system. You can also add more tiles in the same area on the screen using the Show More Tiles option in the Start Screen settings. Tiles can now be as small as icons, so you can fit up to 6 of them in a single row thanks to this brand new option, so you won't be jealous of big screen owners. Other novelty can be found in the battery saver area, so let's look for it. Here we go, battery saver. Now you can actually see which apps drain your battery more, and you can select them to run them in the background or not. You can allow them to run in the background when the battery saver mode is on or not, so the battery saver has become more complex. Another change has been made to the calendar. Here we go, it now has a weekly view. Let's trigger it. This is the weekly view. It looks cool. It includes the weather and your tasks, and there is also a new monthly view that shows these little dots, the colored dots right here, showing you your birthdays, tasks, activities, and other things like that. So that's the brand new calendar. Okay, I must mention that Windows Phone 8.1 is a free update, costs no money, and another change is the fact that now you can see the signal here and battery and time all the time. They won't auto hide, so none of them will auto hide. Now the People Hub, here it is. It has smaller fonts as far as I know, so everything has been made more compact. It's better organized, new fonts, smaller ones. And in the phone area, let's see it, we get speed dial integration. Here it is, speed dial is available finally on Windows Phone, which is yet again a novelty. Okay, let's see what else we got here. I must mention that freshly installed applications will have a little new written under them. You can see here new, new and new. It's written right under the name of the application. So yet another novelty. And by the way, this time, unlike the previous Windows Phone iterations, we also see the games included in this list and not only in the special games area. So the apps list will also display games. Windows Phone 8.1 brings VPN support built in, and the multitasking area stays the same as far as design is concerned, but this time you can not only close an app with an X, but you can also swipe it to close it. So that's another piece of novelty. The music and video have been separated this time. It's no longer music and video, it's music here and video here. This is the video area, and above you saw the music, so they've been separated, which is a good decision in my book. Okay, now the famous Cortana gets the biggest section of this review because it's the main innovation here. It's a personal voice assistant, it's a rival for Siri and Google Now, and the tile you can see here, it will show news from Bing. So this is Cortana, is getting things ready. When you first start Cortana for the first time, it asks you what are your preferences, where do you eat dinner every night, what are your hobbies, and it creates a special list of interests. Then, without you asking for anything, it displays news and stuff to check out. So this is Cortana and its style. It has a very cool glowing halo, since Cortana is a character from the game Halo. You can also access Cortana from the search button, like this. And now let's discuss it because there's a lot to talk about. Once you open it, you get all your interests delivered to you. Just like Google Now will show you the scores of your favorite team, Cortana will show you the news regarding technology or politics or whatever you want to see. Okay, in the upper right corner, you'll see the notebook. So the notebook is the way for Cortana to store your preferences. While Google Now stores everything about you in the cloud, this one stores everything on the device, supposedly. First of all, we got interests. Well, interests will learn where you live, where you work, what you eat, what you drink, where you travel, and the weather near you. So you have here the daily glance with commute, calendar and all that. We got traffic. It will learn how you travel to work, how long it takes, where the work is, where you eat, where you drink. You can offer suggestions, promotions, as you can see, kid-friendly, romantic, cuisines. Then the news, you can select what interests you the most, trip planner, and finally weather near you. Gathering all of those, it will create an interest pattern and provide you with the best data available. And by the way, in the interest area, you can also add more. So if you're not happy with those, you can add more stuff in the daily routine, discover, finance, news, sports, travel and weather. By the way, the news served to you via Cortana are provided by Bing News. Okay, getting back here and getting back to our notebook, we move further to Remind Me. As the name says, this is a area where you select reminders. You can add a new title and new details and simply be reminded about a task at a certain time of the day and the month. Then we have quiet hours. Well, this one is actually pretty useful. Cortana will handle the calls, texts, and will turn off notifications during special hours when you sleep, when you work, when you're having a test at school. And we have a bunch of automatic rules. And by the way, there's something called breakthrough rules. So even if you set on the quiet hours, a special inner circle of people, your close relatives and friends, can break through the quiet hours and actually call you or text you. So that's kind of cool. Then we got places. So you can make a list here of your favorite restaurants, bars, your workplace and movie for Cortana to use, suggest stuff and aid you in reaching them. Then we got music searches. Cortana also integrates a Shazam-like feature and it will show you the latest searches you performed. And finally we got settings. You can set your name, have Cortana call you by name, sign into Facebook, battery saver, speech settings, text-to-speech voice female, and some search settings available here, save search, delete history and all that. Okay. Now let's get back to the main interface of Cortana. We have here a music icon. This is basically the Shazam rival feature. You listen to a song, you press it, it finds the song very fast. And by the way, since you're in a library, for example, in an area where there is no loud sound, you can actually write what you want. So let's say Real Madrid scores. You can either say it out loud or write it so you won't bother people next to you. Okay, now let's actually ask it something. Real Madrid scores. Real Madrid scores. That was pretty close. One last try. Real Madrid scores. And finally it got what we wanted. Okay, next up, let's go back. We actually tapped a link. What's the weather like?
Right now, it's 64 and mostly cloudy.
Pizza Hut nearby. Okay, so far so good, aside from the first Real Madrid, but my accent is poor, so don't blame it on Cortana, blame it on me. Now let's try this one. Send message to Andrei.
Which one? Andrea Badragan, Andrea Chilsoy, Andrea Iordash, or Andrea Vraja?
The last one. Now that was an odd understanding of what I said, so uncool. Okay, let's try another thing. Remind me to go to the gym.
When would you like to be reminded?
Tomorrow at 6 p.m.
Remind you to go to the gym at 6 p.m. tomorrow.
Cancel.
Sound good?
Cancel.
Reminder cancelled.
Okay, so as you saw, you can dictate a text for someone. You can start calling someone by saying that to Cortana, and there is the occasional blunder. As you saw earlier, it wrote porn on the screen, although I did not say that. And you can also add stuff to your calendar, set alarms, find music, find places. You can tell it to play a song, for example. You can actually have it give you directions to a place. Let's say, give me directions to Rome.
Sure thing. Where do you want to go?
Rome. Give me directions to Rome.
Okay, getting you directions to Rome.
So that's more like it. As you can see, it's not foolproof 100% of the time. You have to have a pretty decent accent, but at least you can play a song, start calling people, start texting them, add stuff to your reminder list. It instantly connected to my navigational application. And now let's get back to Cortana and see what else you can do. Probably the best thing about it is that you can actually write OneNote stuff with it. I mean notes. Note, buy milk and cookies.
Saving your note. Got it.
Okay, so that has been added to OneNote and I can access it later on, and it's both a text note and an audio note, which is kind of cool.
Note, buy milk and cookies.
So that's it, another cool feature of Cortana. Okay, let's see something else. 2 plus 2. Of course, you can set it to do more complex calculus. Tell me a joke.
The past, the present, and the future walked into a bar. It was tense.
Let's try something else. That's conversation. I'm only curious to see what Microsoft implemented in it. How old are you?
Hard to tell. Time works differently in here.
What do you think of Halo?
Words fail me.
What do you think of Halo?
I'll have to think about that. Could take me a while. Don't wait up.
As you know, Cortana is a character from the video game Halo. And what does Cortana mean?
I am named after Cortana, the AI from Halo. Or, since she's 500 years in the future, she may have named herself after me.
And now the kicker. Are you better than Siri?
Not to brag, but apparently I'm going to help save the universe in about 500 years.
And now 2 more questions. Are you Siri? And the last question, do you like Android?
Solid name. 10 points for the name.
Okay, you can also search for emails or texts, you can open up Facebook with it. It's an excellent virtual assistant, it does its job, but if you have a poor accent like I do, sometimes you will fail even miserably. As you just saw, I tried to text someone, a girl, and it brought up the word porn. I wouldn't have liked to send that to the girl, no way. For now, it's only a solid rival for Siri in theory. I want to see the finalized product, the 1.0 version, and then I will say if it's better or not. For now, Microsoft delivers, finally, something viable for Windows Phone. Now let's continue the analysis of Windows Phone 8.1. So here you'll notice that we have a brand new podcasts application separate from music and anything else. So it's kind of cool if you're into podcasts. And there are also new backup options. You can backup your start screen and the start screen design, passwords, settings, browser favorites, even your texts. And you can even add content. You can save your notes, high scores from games, photos and videos. So that's very cool. You can save stuff to the cloud. As you can see, photos and videos, text messages, apps and settings. Obviously everything is based on OneDrive, so you have to have enough space for everything. Okay, now let's analyze Internet Explorer 11. Let's access gsndom.com. Here we go. Of course it's fast and it has a brand new Inprivate tab. And now we're in the tab section and you can press this button. You can select a new Inprivate tab, and this is it, Inprivate. Well, Inprivate browsing will collect no data about your session or cookies, temporal files and all that on the device. You can see here everything about Inprivate, so that's about it. Now it's loading gsmo.com, showed like this. That's our website, and these are the tabs that you can play with. You can end your Inprivate session and continue browsing as before. Okay, now let's see what else we got here. We also have something called reading mode. It only shows you the text, links and pics without bothering with the rest of the features. So if you select this article here, at some point you have to see a little book icon there, and if you press it you will enter that special reading mode. It's only text, links and pictures, as I said before. Here it is, the little book I told you about. I just pressed it and now we only see picture and text. Nothing bothersome, no other code, just the reading mode. Now let's get to the settings area of the browser. Here we go. Here you can select some interesting stuff. I'm going to go to the advanced settings. You can select the reading view font size, the reading view style, which is bright, medium, light or dark, cookies from websites, website passwords and other useful informations. So Internet Explorer 11 is quite evolved. As you saw, it took me a while to actually find that Inprivate browsing. It's not very intuitive as far as the organization is concerned, but it's fast. It offers Inprivate tab. It offers you that cool reading mode. That's a modern feature of modern browsers. And by the way, you can also pin a web page to the start area and make it a live tile. And another thing worth mentioning is that you can add here infinite number of tabs, or at least Microsoft claims so. And finally, one last thing, we got a section called Other. This one will show you what tabs are open on the Windows 8 computer that you have logged in to the same Microsoft account. Okay, now let's get back to the Windows Phone 8.1 features. All of these apps you see here will be automatically updated without hassle, and the Windows Phone Store has a slightly changed design. These are the applications that we have available. Let's actually access one of them. And now you can see the screenshots in the overview page at the bottom. The reviews have a special graph with stars, and the screenshots are no longer separate, and that's it. The interface is a bit cleaner now in the Windows Phone Store. Now let's get to other features. In order not to bore you, go into the settings area. You'll be able to find at some point something called Wi-Fi Sense. Here it is. This one is a tricky concept to explain, so I'm going to try and explain it to you. Okay, so Wi-Fi Sense automatically connects you to nearby networks if you allow it, and it accepts the terms of the networks fast, so you don't have to analyze the terms, read them, click accept and do all that. So automatically connects to nearby networks, accepts terms, and it also exchanges your special data with contacts without you seeing the password. So let's say there is a contact that you trust and he trusts you. You can exchange passwords of a router between yourself, connect to that, and nobody will know the password. I hope you got that. We also have something called storage sense. Here it is, storage sense. You can move stuff to the micro SD card if you have one. This device doesn't have one, so it's not the case, but at least it's cool that you can move your apps to the card. And finally we have maps. This is not Nokia Maps, it's the map solution from Microsoft. One of the best features about it, and I do mean best, is that it shows Wi-Fi hotspots near you on the map. Very cool feature. So we got here 1 and here 4 more. You can actually see their name, see if they're free or not, they're popular or not, the security, price and stuff like that. And that's probably the main feature that I care about in these new maps iterations. And now let's get to the camera, and I mean the stock camera app, not the Nokia one. The first thing you'll see is the brand new interface, but let's get this Muse here. Okay, so a new user interface in the camera area with 5 shortcuts on the left side, and these are shortcuts for quick access, while on the right side we have the main photo taking mode, the burst shot mode and the video taking mode.